Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of my F1 2021 Custom Formula 2 season for the penultimate round of the championship, round 11 of 12 here in Brazil. To recap the season so far, I'm not even sure where to start. We had a horrible start to the season with a run of bad results and a couple of incidents as well, particularly in Azerbaijan. But we've come back from that and clawed our way back into the fight, and over the last few rounds it's really been back and forth between myself and Yuki Tsunoda as to who's been scoring the big points, and there's been several issues for us as well. Tsunoda with a mechanical failure last round that was a setback for him, but heading into this one then, we have a 14-point advantage in the Drivers' Championship, an 8-point advantage in the Teams' Championship, so let's just try our best to maintain those margins this weekend so we can wrap them up in the finale.
It's finally here, the day we've all been waiting in anticipation for, race day. The Autodromo Jose Carlos Pache circuit has been home to many exciting events in motorsport history, and I have no doubt today will be just as memorable. This high-altitude anti-clockwise circuit is made up of just 15 corners and offers plenty of DRS opportunities, but not as much opportunity to overtake as you would expect. The circuit is known for its very technical Sector 2, which is sandwiched between the circuit's two long straights, the latter of which is considered to be one of the longest full-throttled stretches you'll find. So before the off, let's remind ourselves of yesterday's results with a look at the starting grid. Mick Schumacher lines up on pole position, and it's Jack Aitken alongside. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Galeo, Piquet, Yuki Tsunoda, and Eilert. Deruvala, Matsushita, Lundgaard, Daniel Ticktum, Joe, Schwartzman, Felipe Dragovic, and Giotto, Sato, Alesi, Mazepin, and Louis Delatraz. Samaya, Armstrong, Nissany, and Artem Markelov completes the grid. Now it's almost time to lights out, so let's go down to the track.
So as you can see, it was a relatively good qualifying for us. P3, not pole position, but we are ahead of Yuki Tsunoda, who qualified in 5th. So we're both near the pointy end of the field, so let's just get into it and see what we can achieve in this race. The strategy, of course, will be softs to mediums, no rain to interfere, just clouds, so that shouldn't become an issue. So that will just be a straight out fight to the end as we go to the 5 red lights. And it's lights out and away we go for the feature race in Brazil. It's a dreadful start for Jack Aitken. That gives us a spot immediately off the start. We're going to go down the inside and Mick Schumacher as well. And we might grab the lead here as we head through the center S for the first time. The understeery left-hander, but we will get through and take the lead of the feature race here in Brazil through the first few corners. Wide on the exit though, as we made a mistake. And Nat is going to hand the position back to Mick Schumacher. We're going to have a look to the inside. Schumacher defends. We go to the outside and we'll sweep around, but the car will just not bite in these early phases. Heavy fuel, cold tyres, and no grip there around the outside of Mick Schumacher, and the German holds on to the race lead as we just about keep the inside line and defend there from Jack Aitken behind us. And now we focus our attention back onto Mick Schumacher once again, and we'll see if we can get a run on him in just a moment. So the first lap gone pretty well for us as we have gained that position on Jack Aitken. Could have taken the lead, but nonetheless we will push on and try and get further clear of Yuki Tsunoda. He too was able to make a position as Pedro Piquet in 5th place at the moment as we squeeze up the inside of Schumacher. Maybe a bit of contact there, it was very close, but not able to make a move on the German once again in the Prema, and we have to slot in behind once again. We continue on though, and now we will go for the move down the inside, and we'll just about get the nose in, but we can't quite get the move done. Schumacher holds on as we back out of that one and let him keep the position. So as we continue on once again, we will now have the assistance of DRS on this lap as we go down the inside, charging into the center S, and now we get the move done nice and cleanly on Mick Schumacher. We make another mistake though through the right there, and now Schumacher's around the outside. We've spun on the curb, a glance of the wall there that's going to damage our front wing slightly as we have dropped a bunch of places from that, but you can see just too deep into the right-hander, and we couldn't get back onto the track. Mick Schumacher was there on the racing line, as he has every right to be, of course. It was our mistake to go off the road and our responsibility to rejoin safely, but in doing so, we've found the wall. But anyway, we have now dropped all the way down into 12th position.
Check your MFD for a new strategy
and we're being told to box by our engineer as Guan Yu Zhou gets past us, and we need to now try and minimize the loss. There's no point pitting now because it's only a couple of laps until the pit window is open, so I'm going to try and just drag the car around with this damaged front wing. You can see the understeer there and how much the car just does not want to turn, and now that's cost us a spot to Luca Giotto, the Italian, down or now up to 13th, but still not where he would want to be in this field. We make a nice move there to re-overtake Giuliano Alesi and get back ahead of the Frenchman, and that puts us back up into 14th position, but it's going to be short-lived because we just have no pace on these or with this damaged front wing, and on soft tyres that aren't really getting any better. Oh, that's an issue there for Alesi. What's happened there? He's spun off the road, and that has taken out one of the barriers there. Didn't quite see how that started from the offboard, but we'll have a look now on the onboard with Giuliano Alesi, and we'll see what happened. Oh, he just clips the back of us there as we were going a little bit slowly trying to make the corner, and Alesi just misjudged that as he tried to cut in and go to the right, and yeah, made a bit of contact. Marino Sato gets past us as well as we were really slow off of that corner, and Marino Sato is through. But finally now we can actually make our pit stop as the pit window is now open, and we can pit and it will count as our compulsory pit stop, as we are not allowed to do that before lap 6. So we continue to struggle forward in this race and continue to lose plenty of places, but it's not really going to matter too much because we're going to lose a bunch of time in the pits anyway with the front wing change, so all of these cars behind us are going to get through no matter what we do. But the one advantage we do have is we will get an undercut. We'll have fresh tyres now versus everyone else before they make their stops, and if we put in some fast laps we may be able to get some of those places back, and if we get a safety car it will be very beneficial to us in terms of gaining back some of the time we lost as we just about get into pit lane. A little bit out of control there, but into the pits we go, and the old front wing gets taken off. Not much left on that one. We get the new front wing on the car, and that is going to feel amazing when we leave the pit lane. It's going to feel like a Formula 1 car to have some level of downforce back on the nose, and we leave the pit lane with a fresh set of tyres, a fresh front wing.
One more stop today. One stop left in our strategy.
And apparently one more stop to go, but we're not going to do that as we have a bit of a moment there on the exit on cold tyres, so we need to watch out for that. Really difficult pit exit here in Brazil, very, very narrow, very easy to accidentally hit one of the walls and damage the front wing that you just replaced. But anyway, as we continue to look forward, that is Artem Markelov, who is out of the race with a mechanical failure, so the Russian who was already running down at the back of the field.
We've been informed that the safety car is out. There appears to have been an issue with multiple stopped vehicles.
Multiple stopped vehicles? That is Yuki Tsunoda off the road. Another issue for the Japanese driver, and he's parked at a very odd angle there. Let's grab a replay of what happened there. And oh, he's lost the rear end there, and through the final real corner on the circuit, the Japanese driver's lost control, and our title rival spins off the road. That is unfortunate for him, and that's going to send him tumbling down the order and out of contention in this race. He does eventually get going once again and continues on his way, as he will still need to make his compulsory pit stop in this race, and indeed he's coming in for that now under the safety car. Wise choice there, but that's cost him a bunch of time and track position, and well, that's sent us both down the order now. Our mistake with getting damage, as well as Tsunoda spinning off as well. We're both going to be fighting for maybe some low-end points if we're lucky in this race. We're going to be in old tyres, which is going to be difficult for us to control, but yeah, we were pushing hard there towards the exit of the pit lane just to see if we could gain any places if anyone happened to be coming out. it's worth kind of overrunning the delta a little bit in order to gain a few spots and then give the time back later, but unfortunately there was no advantage to be gained at that point. But that's what I was doing there, stopping near the pit exit to give up that time again. But anyway, we continue on, and eventually we back under green flag running, and we begin making overtakes once again as we have a bit of a moment up on the curb there as we try and squeeze down the inside, and we'll just about get through there, I think, just barely making the move on Giuliano Alesi, and we overtake the Frenchman in this race. So both of the HW8 Race Lab cars having issues as we jam the car up the inside of Luca Giotto. But yeah, Alesi with the spin as he ran into the back of us, and Markelov retiring from the race as well. It's not been a good day for the HW8 Race Lab team. Now as we try and stick the nose up the inside of Yuki Tsunoda, we don't quite get the move done there, but this is what I mean, where we found ourselves in the same part of the circuit here. But the issue for us is, as I was beginning to mention before, we're on old tyres, so it's going to be difficult for us to make overtakes, but a lot of people are in pit lane now because they didn't stop under the safety car. Obviously you can only sort of pit one car at a time unless you double stack, so a lot of teams have chosen to leave their other cars out for a little bit longer and avoid the double stacking in the pit lane, and the chaos that can come with that. But that's going to drop that group of cars to the back as we get up the inside of Yuki Tsunoda and make a nice move there on our championship rival, and that brings us up into 10th position and into the points. So 1 point for us now as things stand in this race. We don't have fastest lap, but neither does Tsunoda, so nothing to worry about too much there as we continue in this race. Next up is Guan Yu Zhou, the Chinese driver, as we have a look to the inside with the help of the DRS, the drag reduction system. We get up the inside of Guan Yu Zhou, and we make the move nice and clean into the second sector, and now we set our sights on the next car.
Good job.
Felipe Drugovich up the road as we are very close behind him here. We'll go up the inside, very late on the brakes there. Drugovich will surely switch back, and he does. Drugovich now to the outside as we head through the next few left-handers, and we will be able to hold off Felipe Drugovich and get through on the Brazilian. But yeah, that was a little bit ambitious there. We had to be very late on the brakes, but we got the move done, and that's the most important thing.
You'll be on the softs.
Drugovich though back down the inside as we run side by side into the first corner, and Drugovich gets through, and we slot back into 9th position. This is an important fight because if we can get 8th, we'll get reverse grid pole, whereas if Drugovich finishes ahead of us, he will be on that reverse grid pole position, and we'll start down in 9th where we finish. So we need to beat Felipe Drugovich here, but we're losing pace in this race as these old tyres are starting to fall off the cliff, so it's going to be a difficult fight. But Drugovich is back through once again, and it's up to us to try and re-overtake the Brazilian. We have DRS, but we need to worry about Guan Yu Zhou as well. He's close, so we go for the dive down the inside of Felipe Drugovich, and a little bit out of control there, but we do get through on the Brazilian driver once again and put ourselves back up into 8th position. But that is Luca Giotto. I mentioned he was having a tough race earlier. He was a beneficiary of the safety car intervention that put him ahead of us, but now he is out of the race with a mechanical issue, and that's put us up into 7th, but only briefly because we've got 2 wheels on the grass as we run wide there, and that's dropped 3 places, 4 places, and we're down into 11th in the blink of an eye, and that's Tsunoda, Drugovich, Zhou, and Mazepin all overtaking us, and we now have a pile of work to do if we wanted to score a reverse grid position in this race. We need to pass at least 3 of these cars to get reverse grid pole, but pass 1 more, and that's further points for us. We jam the car up the inside into the last real corner, and we get past Nikita Mazepin.
Schumacher has just put up the fastest lap of the race so far.
As Mick Schumacher sets the fastest lap of the race. We actually take that later on though, as you can see in the top left, so we've got some good pace at times if we can string a decent lap together with a bit of DRS help as well. But Yuki Tsunoda, as we look up the inside, Tsunoda fighting back, and now we are going to continue this battle into the middle sector, and we will just about hold off Tsunoda and bring ourselves back up into 9th. 1 more place and we will be on reverse grid pole, and that is the target for the rest of this race. Still a little way to go. We're on lap 35 of 40, so it's not over yet. We go up the inside of Felipe Drugovich and we get the move done. Up into 8th position now for us. So we've done the job. We just need to hold this position for the rest of the race. 4 laps to go in this one. Let's see if we can do it. Drugovich has a good exit as our tyres are really starting to fall away now. They're a lot older than everyone else is around us. We cover the inside line. Drugovich is having a look, but not close enough to get through. And we hold on for now. But Guan Yu Zhou, you can see how much he's gotten away. We do not have the pace
Copy that.
to keep up with him. So as we continue on then to the final lap of the race, we've done enough for now. Mazepin is the car behind us now as Mick Schumacher comes towards the finish line to win the feature race in Brazil. Great drive from Mick Schumacher, and he has dominated this one. We're off the road there briefly as we head through the final corner. Mazepin's up the inside and we're going to run side by side to the finish line. We cut him off, contact is made, and we get sent flying into the infield. We're reset onto the track as you can see us there trying to regain control of the car, trying to get some momentum back, and Mazepin's going to run to the outside as we head towards the finish line. It's going to be side by side again. Contact is made again. We're into the wall.
All right. Engine off. Engine off.
And we are both out of the race.
Here's our winner, pulling their Prema into Parc Ferme then. What a fantastic race. And Davide Valsecchi, give me your thoughts. How did they accomplish this result?
Wow, well, there's no doubt that the race was impacted as soon as the safety car made an appearance. It was so important how the successful team today reacted to this situation. They were decisive and stuck to their strategy, which really helped them take an advantage.
As we look back on a thrilling race here today, we can now see the drivers take their places on the podium. It's a familiar sight by now, as it's another successful F2 win for Prema.
So Mick Schumacher wins the feature race here in Brazil. Robert Schwartzman makes it a Prema 1-2 with Marino Sato in 3rd.
Now then, Davide Valsecchi, who would you say was your driver of the day?
Let's give it to Marcus Armstrong. That was a quality drive from start to finish. He can be proud of that one.
After all this drama, you'll be mad not to join us for the next race. We hope to see you then. Take care.
Well, let's have a quick replay of that and see what happened. This is on board with Mazepin, and he's turned us into the wall there, 100%. I mean, I'll take the blame for the first stint where we got sent off into the infield. That was my bad. I cut him off. But here, you can see there's miles of space on the right. We're hard on the left-hand side on the white line, and he's just turned into us and turned us around, and he gets carried with us. He's into the wall with the wheel off. We've got too much damage to continue as well, and yeah, we are both out. Disaster for us, disaster for him, and disaster for our championship. We're 8 points behind, ahead of Sonoda heading into this race. He scored 4 in this race. He finished in 8th position. But the worst part is we're starting down in the order, and he's starting on pole.
We've reversed the top 8 from yesterday's race to set the grid for the sprint race here today, and the drivers are almost ready on the grid down below. Joining me for the race today, I'm delighted to welcome back to the commentary box the 2012 GP2 champion, Davide Valsecchi. Davide, it's great to have you with us for today's race. Any tips for our drivers out on the track today?
It's a real pleasure to be here, Alex. We are in for a spectacular day in Formula 2. My advice is to stay calm, look after the car, look after the tires, but don't be afraid to push when you see an opportunity. Using the DRS on some of those long straights will be crucial for the driver looking to make a challenge.
Alright, so here we are on the grid then for the sprint race here in Brazil, and we've got to do it all again. We're starting down in 19th, Sonoda's on pole, and we have to beat him. Easy, 5 red lights then. And it's lights out, and away we go for the sprint race in Brazil, and we immediately get past Drugovich and Ticktum, who both got off to a bad start. We might get Matsushita as well down into the first corner. We are on the outside line. Matsushita tried to have a little sneaky look up the inside of Lundgaard, didn't get through there. The Danes shut the door, and we will get through on Matsushita through the first couple of corners, and that brings us up into 16th. So 3 places gained in the first 3 corners. Can we make it 4 from 4 as we go down the inside of Lundgaard and almost up the inside of the next couple of cars, but not able to get Jane Deruvla, who shuts the door there at the last moment. But yeah, we could not get through there on the Indian, but maybe through the middle sector we'll have a better chance. Another little look, but again nowhere to go there. And now we'll go for the move up the inside as he's caught up in the queue of cars. We make a nice move down the inside. We'll have a nice run around the outside here, angle the car for a nice exit out of the corner, and we get ahead of Jane Deruvla. He slots in behind, and we now focus our attentions on Kalamilot, who is running immediately ahead of us in the UNI Virtuosi car. So let's see what we can do as we have a look down the inside, and we'll slide on through there and get ahead of the Rit, and that brings us up into 13th place. So decent start for us so far in this one. We've got Jack Aitken up ahead, and he's actually running a fair way down the order in this one. Remember, he started on the front row, so his weekend has really not gone to plan there. So it's unfortunate for Aitken, but anyway, we are going to make a move down the inside. He does a little defend, but we make the move anyway and get through.
Good job, nice overtake.
Into P12 for us now. So steady progress through the field, and we are going to continue marching forwards, and we go down the inside and make the move stick on Pedro Piquet, and the Brazilian drops a spot. We gain 1, and now we set our sights on Roy Nassani in the Trident car, the Israeli driver. Oh, that's an issue there. A car going very slowly along the straight. That is Christian Lundgaard, and he's now heading into the pit lane, so I'm not sure what the issue is there for Lundgaard, but the Dane has an issue with his car clearly there, and he will tumble down the order with that. Remember, he was already down towards the back of the field, so that's not going to affect our race in any way. We get up the inside and make the move stick on Roy Nassani, and that brings us up into the top 10.
Brilliant. Nice move.
So that's good for us. If we can get the fastest lap, we will get 2 bonus points for being in the top 10 with the fastest lap. So we'll try to do that, and we do set a purple lap on lap 6, now heading on to lap 7 as we go down the inside of Lacey, but I'm sure that lap won't stick. The lap times do tend to get faster and faster throughout the race, so we will still need to focus on our lap times towards the end when they really count. We continue on and catch up to Mick Schumacher, the race winner in the feature race. He started in 8th behind his teammate Schwartzman, and neither of them making much progress in this one, so that's going to help us as we get down the inside of Schumacher. A bit deep, Schumacher goes to the outside, but we should be able to hold him off here, and we do just that and stay ahead of German, and we're up into 8th position and into the points proper now in this race. Next up is Robert Schwartzman, so let's see if we can catch up to the Russian. We will, and we'll go down the inside into the final sector and get ahead of Robert Schwartzman. Next up then is Marino Sato, who was on the podium, so the 3 podium sitters still where they started in this race. So yeah, and all them, the 3 of them not making the progress they would have wanted with the pace they were able to showcase in the first race of the weekend. But anyway, it's helping us because they are all stuck behind some potentially slower cars. I did notice Samaya was well up the order, and he has helped us before in holding up some cars, so we'll see if that can happen once again. We're currently behind Marino Sato. We actually gave him a bit of a hit there. You would have seen the moment as I was talking about Samaya, but anyway, we now are trying to get around the outside of Marino Sato, and we will just about find the room there, and we'll go around the outside a little bit on the grass on the exit, but we will grab this position away from Marino Sato, leaving plenty of space there. Don't want to repeat what happened with Nikita Mazepin, but anyway, we get away with it. Now we move on to lap 25, so over 10 laps later, and we're finally on the back of Delatraz. We got a run here. Can we get up the inside? No, too much momentum, and no way we could cut to the left and make the move up the inside. And we had to lift off there, otherwise we would have smashed into the back of Louis Delatraz, and we just can't seem to make a move on the Swiss driver. He's defending well, and we just can't get past, and I think that contact with Marino Sato actually damaged our front wing, because since we passed him we haven't really made any progress, and Sato's still not that far behind us, so it's not like these cars in front are particularly fast as we finally go for a move up the inside of Louis Delatraz on what is now the final lap of the race. Delatraz gets back through though, and now we have all the work to do as we have a look to the outside. Can we carry the momentum here? We'll have the advantage of DRS, but so will Louis Delatraz. We've got a good slipstream though. Delatraz defends all the way to the inside white line, and we go to the outside and we'll see if we can outbrake the Swiss driver. We get the position briefly. Now we're up on the outside curve. A big moment there as the tyres are really starting to fall away, and Delatraz has got to hold on, and we're back down and into 6th position. So we're fighting for a top 5 here with Delatraz. Can we go up the inside here? No, we're going to wait. We've run into the back of him though. Contact there as he was very slow on the apex, so we just more likely couldn't get the car stopped, to be fair, and that's contact that's further damaged our front wing. So it's going to be a drag race to the line if we can get past Delatraz. It's not too bad, just sort of risking trying to carry the speed as best that we can, but right now it's not enough to pass Delatraz. But he got a bad exit. This is the first time he's got a bad exit out of the final corner, and now we've got a decent run towards the finish line. We'll have the advantage of DRS. Delatraz doesn't this time, so can we get the run towards the finish line, to the outside, side by side, drag race to the line, and we'll just get there in front.
That's the end of the race. We'll see you in Parc Fermé.
What a finish. What a finish. Unbelievable. Those points could be crucial. 2 extra points for us.
So another fantastic victory for Carlin today. And I have to wonder, Davide Valsecchi, just what set them apart from the competition here.
I think they kept a cool head. That's why they won today. Smooth, steady, everything bad that happened to them, they handled it calmly and professionally. That's what let them focus on getting the best out everything else. The car, the strategy, they managed to keep out of trouble the whole way around.
And there you have it, today's winners. Having raised some of the biggest names in F1 to date, Carlin have once again shown their expertise when it comes to recruiting new talent. No doubt today's winners have a bright future ahead of them. They certainly deserve it after today's performance.
So Yuki Tsunoda wins the sprint race here in Brazil. Guan Yu Zhou finishes in 2nd position with Marcus Armstrong in 3rd.
And now, Davide Valsecchi, let me ask you, who is your driver of the day?
I think it's got to be Sean Galeol. He's not always spectacular, but he quietly gets the job done, and that's the case today.
Well, what a weekend that has been. Please join us next time for another thrilling installment when Formula 2 returns.
Well, that brings an end to the weekend in Formula 2 here in Brazil. And, well, how do we debrief from that one? We made a really great start off the line, gained a couple of spots there, and that really set the tone for the first half of the race. We were really charging through the field for the first, well, literally for the first half of the race, the first 14 laps, until at the end of that lap we ran into the back of Marino Sato, and or it was just before that, but anyway, after we passed Sato at the halfway point of the race, we had no more pace after that with the bit of damage to our front wing. So yeah, that was kind of halted our charge through the field. Otherwise, I think it would have been tough to get any higher than the podium. I don't really think the win was on the cards, especially with Tsunoda leading the way up front with Guan Yu Zhou and Marcus Armstrong in 3rd. Maybe we could have got him, but of course they were all very, very quick drivers, so I think it would have been tough to get any higher than 2nd or 3rd in this one. But you never know, if we didn't have that damage, we could have maybe done a miracle and gone from starting near the back to winning, but obviously it didn't happen that way, and it was 5th place for us. But it was damage limitation. We did bring home a bunch of points, and in the Drivers' Championship we still have a 3-point lead over Yuki Tsunoda, and a 3-point deficit in the Team's Championship behind Carlin. So we will need to make sure we we capitalise on the final round and make sure we get the best result we can along with our teammate, because if both Sonoda and Daruvula are up there for Carlin in the final round, we're going to need Dan Ticktum there as well for us to score points for our team and win the team's championship along with our teammate. But who knows, both Daruvula and Ticktum have been up and down all season. They've had their moments, but in general they've been struggling to even score points. So yeah, it's not been a good year for either of them. But there's the contact with Louis Delatraz at the end. But other than that, then I'll say thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.